4, 3, 2, 1. I told you before to be careful where you put your legs.
I was only trying to be helpful.
I can help myself. What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on. What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on.
For 7 decades, Michael Caine has been among the world's most renowned and recognisable actors.
It was just what I needed. A 1-inch god with a 2-inch penis.
The star of classics like Zulu, The Man Who Would Be King, and The Cider House Rules.
It's a miracle no one was killed.
But also films that brought his career to the brink of complete implosion.
I made a mistake.
Somehow, he has always found a way back.
You're a big man, but you're in bad shape. With me, it's a full-time job.
In this epic podcast series, we will watch and review every Michael Caine movie, from the greatest hits
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
to the incredible misses,
You failed to maintain your weapon, son.
and take a deep dive into the life and work of one of the world's most recognisable film stars.
His name is Michael Caine, and no one will forget his name.
To understand how he has made the mark of Caine.
Well, you all settled in? Right, we can begin. For God's sake, come in.
Hello and welcome to a very festive and wonderful Mark of Caine, all sprinkled with Santa fairy dust and cinnamon, doused in booze, which we've been drinking from a completely unadvisable hour, and likely to include words poorly chosen and almost certain to offend the older members of the household. Oh, and yes, in true Christmas fashion, we will, as usual with this podcast, leave room for a big long nap in the middle. My name is Michael Foley, and I'm joined as always on this sleigh ride through the films of Michael Caine by Stephen Black of the Mallow News Twitter feed. And today, Stephen, we are stepping away from the drudgery of our chronological death march through the movies of Caine and jumping on to 1992 to be beguiled and charmed by the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Ho, 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 Michael. And indeed a Merry Christmas to all our listeners, for it is Christmas time that we are recording this in.
It is. And let me just say,
It is
on
actually
that,
Christmas, isn't
it is. I think it's important actually to say that we're embracing this. It's really important. We are not Jews Hollanding this. This Christmas extravaganza is not being recorded around the time people are like doing trick-or-treating and stuff. The decorations are up. The weather is cat. I don't know about you. I've already started my like steady eating program, you know, upscaling towards the traditional December 25th gorge. It's proper Christmas now.
It is, yeah. I've been kicking orphans into oncoming traffic. Yeah, the usual Christmas traditions.
Superb. Getting into the role. Almost, I'm sure the way Caine would have invested himself in the role of Scrooge for this one. Do you reckon he was kicking kids around in 1991?
I think even at that, what age is Caine here? 1992.
Oh,
Let's say if
1933. So whatever. What's that? 59.
So essentially, I think if he attempted to kick anyone, his leg would fall off.
It's very, very possible. Have you ever seen this before? I can't say that the Muppets plus Caine ever got into the Christmas movie playlist for me, you know. I mean, it was all Wonka, Arabia, Escape, Horror, more Easter.
Yeah, like outside of Scrooged, I've never been a fan of the whole Christmas Carol tale and stuff. It's just watched it so many times when I was a kid. It was just... Yeah, when it came out in 92, as I mentioned in a previous podcast, much more interested in films of a more serious adult nature than maybe seeing fucking some old cockney tit about with a couple of fucking foam Muppets, you know? I think that's high on my agenda.
You're right. I mean, at 16, this is
a very difficult wank.
Very challenging to quote a great man.
Sean Locke,
it wouldn't have been one in our at our time of life now that we would have been tuning into probably in 1992. But at this time of life now, I actually convinced, like we've got 4 smallies here, so I convinced 3 of them to watch along. To be fair,
just to say, in his own house, it's not like we're co-parenting.
Exactly. Oh, we're no, not at all. Can I be very, very clear on that? I think it would be a very difficult pairing situation. Pairing. It would be a difficult pairing and a very difficult pairing and a very difficult parenting situation. I'd say we'd have different ideas on things, Stephen. You know, stuff like kicking orphans, for example. No, wouldn't really.
I'm not pro kicking my own children, but just other people's.
Yeah, even at that, I don't know what I'd be able to get
and
done.
The good thing about kicking an orphan is it's not like their parents are able to say anything about it.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Wonderful time of the year.
I actually we were like at this moment we have an 11-month-old. We have a baby.
Orphans in the rear. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Our little fella is 11 months old, right? He initially actually did start. He actually was looking at things. He crawled off eventually, and then when we were watching, he actually crashed into something or something. He came back spouting blood from his mouth. Anyway, we were only halfway through Muppets Christmas Carol. So, I think life lesson there for the child. If you start something, you finish it. Don't go wandering off. You'll only end up with a bloodied face.
Yes, it's really the child who needs to learn something in this scenario.
Exactly. Thank you. Anyway, but it's lovely. And Cratchity old Caine playing Scrooge opposite Kermity old Cratchit and all the rest. It's lovely. I don't think we're giving away anything to say. This is a celebration of Caine and Christmas and what makes the Muppets great. This is the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Humbug. He was the greediest man alive.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Until the night he met someone extraordinary.
Hello.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'll drink to Mr. Scrooge, even though he is odious and stingy and badly dressed.
Humbug.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grim.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him.
Yes, Mr. Cratchit.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
Unemployed!
It's Charles Dickens' classic tale. As only the Muppets can tell it.
It's good to be heckling again.
It's good to be doing anything again.
Filled with holiday warmth.
Hey, like the lamb, not the rat, like the lamb, not the rat.
And Christmas spirit.
Oh, that's scary stuff. Should we be worried about the kids in the audience?
No, it's all right. This is culture.
This is the movie to see, to share, to cherish with someone you love.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
Walt Disney Pictures presents from Jim Henson Productions, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Whatever.
I'm going to start this now.
Sorry for interrupting you there, Mick.
Yeah, it's fine. Let me try that again. I'm going to start this by removing any notion, right? All right, shut up. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm going to start this, okay, by removing any notion of a Caine or explainer this time, right? I mean, I'm not explaining the plot, okay? Frankly, it's a Christmas Carol, Dickens, Ghost, Scrooge, Tiny Tim, Bob Cratchit. If you've never seen, read, or heard of the story, basically Google it, you ignoramus, right? So where do you want to start with this film?
I guess what I thought of it, I suppose, is what we both thought.
Oh, all right. And what did you think of it?
I thought it was fine. It was absolutely fine. And I think having, well, depending on your perspective, illegally jumped ahead in time to view this movie, or whatever, it's offered a rare breath of fresh air in the sewer of Michael Caine movies that we recently found ourselves in.
Indeed. I mean, our last film on our chronological run was Harry and Walter Go to New York.
Yeah,
this is different in every way.
Yeah, it's just over an hour and a half long as well, which is just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Yeah,
it's actually one of the things I'm looking forward to when we go into the 80s and 90s is the trends then for shorter movies, unlike the fucking 2.5 hour marathons that we're forced to sit through.
Yeah.
Where we're currently sitting mid-70s. Yeah,
you're right. They're very long and they're not very good, all of them. But look, we're kind of getting away. Let's just enjoy this moment for what it is. Like him,
this is very. I'm worried. You see that this might have an effect on us that we're not expecting. It's very much like in a way, that scene in Cool Hand Luke where your one is washing the car.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
So, where the lads are all reminded about what they're missing and that this is fantastic, but ultimately she's gone off and they're still inside.
I get you. I hear you. So what you're saying is like we've watched the Muppets Christmas Carol. When this episode is over, we're back to the drudgery of the mid-70s again, away from this. So we should just probably embrace it.
We're back in the hole.
Yeah. We're back in the hole. Yeah, we're back in the hole. Yeah. And we, even McQueen style, we don't have a ball and a baseball glove to pass the time. It's a fab. I really enjoyed it. And I take your point. And I will think of it now in those terms. Like, I mean, did I enjoy it as much as I did because we're just coming up such a backlog of crap? Or is it? It's considered to be one of the classic.
It's basically, when if you've an abusive alcoholic parent and they come home from the pub, and only this time instead of kicking you, they decide to give you a few sweets out of the jar, and you're kind of
yeah.
But tomorrow they could be coming home and it's like,
Yeah.
Here we go with the strap again.
But here's the thing, right? The sweets still taste good.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. It's still the sweets still taste good, and I think Muppet Christmas Carol, whenever you'd watch it, right?
God, I really hope you lose that. I really hope you use that line in the boudoir.
Yeah. Oh.
This sweet tastes good.
Where did you think I came up with it? So. Like I think a Muppet Christmas Carol, no matter what context you'd watch it, but particularly obviously at Christmas time, whether you're like us and the many others who are watching these films along with us, I think it would still stand up. It would still stand up as just a lovely film. He's very good in it. Our man Caine is very good in it. Invested Caine is good Caine. He went at this. It's interesting how he went at this role. Like when he was approached to do it, he kind of said to the director Brian Henson, and we'll talk a bit more maybe about the background to the Muppets Christmas Carol, which I think is really important in making the film. But in terms of Caine, he kind of said to him, "Look, I'm going to play this completely straight. I'm going to play it straight." He took his inspiration from kind of Wall Street traders, bankers, and stuff like that, who were kind of the crooked Weasley version of that particular particular breed of person, and kind of honed himself. He said, "Look, I'm not going to play it as though there are no Muppets around me. I'm just going to play it really straight." And the result is people would maintain that it's a very dark, sinister Scrooge. Caine himself says, "My Scrooge is particularly irredeemable and more psychotic than most." Did you find it? Did you find it that way? How did you find his Scrooge?
I've got to be quite honest with you. I didn't find his Scrooge was a particularly terrible person. I mean, he doesn't like Christmas. Fair enough. Many people don't like Christmas. He doesn't want to give money to an unregistered charity that comes knocking on his door. Doesn't display any credentials of any kind.
Yes.
Gives it hardship. He gives these workers the day off of Christmas. That seems to be kind of. Lots of places still open or have started to open here in Ireland at Christmas Day. So, and especially in England as well, we should point out that most places are open on fucking Christmas Day, regardless, because they're heathens. So,
good point.
That's a particularly unusual thing and very gracious of him. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, it doesn't take a hell of a lot for him to change his ways either. It's just here's a quick kind of fucking this is your life, rewind, present day, and fast forward. He didn't find him that malevolent or anything like that. Again, with the space of an hour and a half, he's gone from humbug to, I cut off my leg and grafted onto Tiny Tim's deformed stump or whatever. Mm-hmm. I would die for him. That's a pretty quick turnaround. I don't see him malevolent in any way. I find
that are you contradicting yourself slightly here in that you're saying that
me? No, never.
that the movie is moving too quickly. That it would actually be better if it was longer and more.
No. I will never. I'm not contradicting myself at all. I have no problem with the movie moving quickly. Please, more of this, and long may it continue.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he's introduced on his way. Everybody's saying, "Oh, singing in one of Paul Williams' many forgettable songs." Oh, Christmas is great, but here's Mr. Scrooge. You just see him go like if I was walking through the street and a bunch of lads are singing, it's like going through fucking Grafton Street in Dublin during a busy fucking day. You really do occasionally want to just kick a busker in the fucking face if they're playing fucking Wonderwall or wailing away or encouraging people to like them or subscribe on fucking YouTube. Like, what kind of loser does that?
Exactly. What kind of loser does that?
But at Christmas time especially, it's busy enough, and these fucking people faffing around singing and dancing around the place. You've been foul humour too. Goes into work. The lads are pissing about, to be honest with you. We need more coal. Doesn't seem to be that fucking cold. Let's remind ourselves that amphibians are cold-blooded, so it can't be that cold or he will be unable to function.
But there's rats working there.
Again, from a health code perspective, I'd have issue with that.
Would you? Yeah.
I
kind of have to say the way they wrote with the quills just made me laugh out loud. Just the really fast writing of the quills, and the quills are flying. I'm sorry. Go on. Carry on, Scrooge.
No, but I mean, just say in general, there wasn't that kind of. I think even in fucking Bill Murray and Scrooge, there's an awful lot of establishing him as a real prick.
Yeah,
from the way that he treats treats his personal assistant, her son, the Bob Cat Goldthwait, his character, and even suggesting to super glue antlers onto a mouse's ears. All of that. Amazing bastard, and spends about the first half hour of the movie setting that up. This is pretty much 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Oh, he's a bit of an asshole. but worth sending 3 ghosts. I mean, is it really the best use of the afterwards resources, I wonder, to allocate 3 whole ghosts? Because he seemed to be quite done after the Ghost of Christmas Past. I think they kind of over-egged the pudding by doing the present and the future.
I think they had the ball over the line with Christmas Present. Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, Christmas Future could have been, haunting someone else. You, for example, by the sound of things.
I love Christmas. I love Christmas. I'm not in any way humbugish or Scroogish, but I just think, I just, again, as usual with Michael Caine, he's talking to his fucking hole. You can imagine him there going into Wall Street for fucking 2 months and looking at how these
no, don't get me wrong.
He's done no research.
No. Well, what he did was, according to himself,
I watched the movie Wall Street.
No, not even that. He just turned on CNN. That was all it is. That was it. That was the extent of his.
And he's absolutely fine in this. He's kind of engaged. It's not
he's very engaged. No. He's very engaged.
But let's put it this way: he's given absolutely really nothing to do but react. Really, in this, there's no, you can't say, oh, he's got some great comic timing. He's not really given any funny lines. He has no really funny interaction with the characters at all. It's all, as you say, very straight. So all he's really doing is reacting to things. Occasional misty-eyed, you can see him always squeeze a little bit of moisture into his eyes.
Yeah. A man renowned, but according to himself anyway, for not crying in real life, only cries on screen.
Yeah, so he's absolutely fine. The role doesn't call out for a lot. He's grand. You could have replaced him with any other actor, and it would not have made any other actor of his age and vintage, and it would not have made any difference. It is not a Michael Caine Christmas Carol. It is a Muppet Christmas Carol.
It is a Muppet Christmas Carol, and I think that, and I actually think that's worth bearing in mind in relation to the idea of the kind of character development of Scrooge, right? I mean, the Muppets, of course, one of the big things is that they appeal to an adult audience as much as a kid's audience, but primarily it's for kids. So, like, you don't need to spend ages on turning Scrooge into a bastard. Him just looking the way he does is enough for kids. Like.
You don't know, but I have no issue. I'm taking Michael Caine to task here with his usual bullshit statements of he's a very malevolent.
Fair enough.
It's like he's fucking going in murdering people. It's just he's a bit of a dick.
Struck me actually that he's essentially playing a part of himself actually, because I mean, Caine he's a working class Tory. I mean, he came up obviously from an impoverished background. Did very well for himself in the world, and has.
The only difference here is that he has worked hard for it.
Oh yes,
most Tories have not.
Yeah, well, okay. We'll put that out to the Tories who are listening to this podcast. You can let us know. But in terms of it's essentially a working class Tory. So he's got to a stage in life now where he's got plenty of money, and he really has no time for idlers or people who he feels could be doing a little bit better with their time, could make their lives better if they worked a little bit harder. There's a touch of Scrooge Light, Diet Scrooge, I think, there in the background for Caine. Anyway, I liked his humbugs. I thought his first humbug was very good. Humbug.
Yes, he say word good.
I also like the Batman villain angles from the very beginning. Those kind of slanty, kind of when they came in on Caine, it's kind of just up to the left.
I just assumed that the cameramen were Muppets as well.
It's possible.
That's not how it works. It's entirely Muppet-based production. Directors are Muppet, Best Boy, Grip. Catering, all provided by Muppets.
I would have thought though that if the camera people were Muppets, that you would have seen a lot more shots from lower down looking up. But I don't know. Maybe they put them up on ladders.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
Humbug.
Quick question. Do you find it upsetting when you see a Muppet's legs?
Yes.
I find it I don't know what it is. It's just
totally disconcerting.
Yeah, because it's a funny thing because when you watch part of your brain accepts that the Muppet is real, that the Muppet is talking, that there is not some man down there who's manipulating the Muppet. But as soon as you see the legs, you kind of go, no, that's not real. That's not what should be there. There should be a guy,
I totally agree with you.
Manipulating it. It's weird as balls.
Completely agree with you. There's a scene, I think, with Kermit walking, and it just really.
I was praying that he wouldn't start tap dancing or anything, because I think I might have vomited.
I know. I think some things are best left to the imagination.
I think it's Muppet whatever the uncanny. It's like an uncanny valley for Muppets. It's just.
Yeah. It's not. It's mad, isn't it? Because I had the exact same, and I always do when I see the Muppets. When I see the legs, I go, "Oh no, go back to waist height again there quickly." Yeah. I'm freaked. Whatever else now? Let me see. Okay, so Ghost of Christmas Past lands in, and they go for a bit of a fly. What did you make of geriatric Superman flying?
It was 1992 and it was fine. Yeah, I found it really weird that the Ghost of Christmas Past was, they could have given the humanist kind of features to it. It was really fucking weird.
Yeah, it looked a bit like the floaty ghosts that come out of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Or a cross with a Gelfling from the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. To broaden that out a little bit, right? So the thinking behind it from the Henson side of things was, initially they were going to pick Muppets to play the past, present, and future ghosts, but they felt that they needed something different, so they designed new ghosts, and they're pretty scary. I mean, I was even a little bit freaked when I saw this floating Ghost of Christmas Past kind of come out. It just wasn't what I was expecting at all. And they are a little bit scary, but they felt they needed to amplify that for kids so that the Muppets, so that the outcome then, from all these scary ghosts to the Muppets, and then Scrooge's sort of revelation would amplify everything, having new scary looking Muppets as ghosts. I think that was apparently was the thinking anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and also
it works, I think.
They don't have enough. I don't think they have enough characters. We need to kind of spread it out. So if you'd want to have a named Muppet in as the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future, and then what are you left for the for Bob Cratchit's family and for the Marley and all that kind of crap?
Yeah, like they went to a lot of trouble trying to figure out what Muppet should play what, and I think they nailed it on the Muppet.
Extensive tryouts.
Extensive tryouts. I mean, look, we come to that maybe in a second, just in terms of how the thing was put together. But just on Caine, look, in my memory, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've seen Dancing Caine here for the first time since Pulp.
Yes, first time since Pulp, and the old articulation of the joints isn't as good as it once was. This is very much an upper body, backwards and forwards with arms stretched out. Kind of, it's like your grandmother at a 21st.
It's like he's doing a geriatric locomotion. Really, it's kind of come on, do the Muppet motion with me. Me elbow. It's got that sort of energy about it. But
okay, take 25.
I can't eat a lot, Dan. Look, he gives it what our eldest here, he's 7. He said he's barely even dancing. He's just moving his arms around.
Yes, and your eldest doesn't know that, again, is ignorant, if you don't mind me saying, that it takes almost 45% of your brain to focus on dancing, So again, all he's left with, and again, don't forget the brain cells dissipate as you get older. So again, doesn't leave MC with a whole lot to kind of concentrate and keeping his eyes bright and his... I guess he's mouthed into a rictus smile.
I will be having a word over Christmas, and also I will be showing him the Pulp dance just to give him some context, so he won't come out with such, just frankly, silly stuff.
Yeah, I think that's time well spent. Hopefully,
Singing Caine, we got a course at the end.
Yes, we were denied more Singing Caine, which I discussed it.
Explain.
There was initially supposed to be a duet between McCain and his love interest Belle. Mm-hmm. When Love Is Gone, sung by actress Meredith Braun, who plays Belle, and Sir Michael Caine. We'll probably put this up at the socials because you can get it on the YouTube. But yes, that I think that's actually I don't know quite how I feel about that. Whether it's not something that the world should have been allowed to see, or whether it's going back to your Raiders of the Lost Ark, just shut your eyes and wait until it's over,
Oh, I think it's something the world needed to see. Like, the singing that is in there is, I mean, I just admire. I mean, anyone who is willing, who cannot sing really, or who can kind of hold a bit of a note, but not really, who is willing to sing, knowing that millions and millions of people will see this for the next however many years.
And it's not Pierce Brosnan and Mamma Mia bad, you know.
No, I'd not by a million miles. I mean, it's mechanical and it's clearly sing this word, now sing these three words.
But it's also brief.
It's brief and it's fine. And again, I think it's the first time we hear singing Caine since The Italian Job, when he was in a chorus doing whatever. Yeah. I keep forgetting the name of that song from The Italian Job. Whatever. Self-Preservation Society, whatever the
real name of it is. Yeah.
Bob's Your Uncle, whatever.
What did you think of the songs? Because I thought they were forgettable as fuck. I couldn't whistle an air of one of them after watching it. It was just bland ear noise.
Well, look, it's not my kind of music to start with. I don't like
it's Paul Williams as well. One of these people you're told, he was such a talented, amazing singer-songwriter in the 70s. Either always having a cameo on Heart to Heart, fucking Love Boat, and so on and so forth. What is it? The Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, Brian De Palma, Paul Williams was in that as well, and then all the work he did in the Dublin gangland scene in the last 20 years.
It was a bit of a jump there, wasn't it?
Bit of a left field turn, or a bit of a left turn there, all right. But I just awful forgettable nonsense.
It's just. I mean, I don't know about you, right? I mean, I won't go and watch musicals. Film. I won't go to the cinema, for example, at this moment in time when we're talking, West Side Stories. Yeah. I will not go see the Spielberg West Side Story. I'm just not interested. I have nothing against it. It's just not my kind of thing. So you're asking me about the songs. The songs would have kind of washed over me. Paul Williams, as you say, interesting. But I tell you what did interest me about the songs, or what got me curious, was just, again, a bit of the context around the writing of these songs, right? So you mentioned Paul Williams, as you say, very well got songwriter during the 70s in particular. He wrote We've Only Just Begun for the Carpenters, was one song he wrote. If anybody remembers that one. Evergreen, From a Star Is Born. By the 80s, he basically spent a lot of the 80s blitzed on vodka and cocaine. So he actually went to...
Cocaine, woo!
Yeah, Vocaine. Yeah, exactly, Vocaine. So he by the late 80s, early 90s, he was trying to get himself back together. He had gone through rehab, and he went to the Hensons looking for a project, and it was at the time when A Muppet Christmas Carol was being brought into being. So Brian Henson asked Williams to write some songs. So when you look at the songs, I think when you look at the lyrics, they're all about the miracle of recovery and redemption. Like it's basically a post rehab song canon.
Yes, I was especially struck by Good King Wenceslas and Marley and Marley as being particularly relevant to the whole recovery process.
Okay.
King Wenceslas, of course, spent fucking 4 months in the Priory after going on a fucking ketamine bender in Prague.
Well, you've got Scrooge's. I mean, you got Caine's song "Thankful Heart," right? Like, so the lyric, like, "Stop and look around you. The glory that you see is born again each day. Don't let it slip away. How precious life can be." I mean, that's straight. I mean, you've walked straight out of Betty Ford or whatever and into your songwriting.
Also, in When Love Is Gone, I miss cocaine. Oh God, yeah. I miss cocaine. By any chance, does anyone here have cocaine? No, really. I'm okay. I can do it. I can take it. Please, no, don't press stop in the recording. Leave it in. I want people. Okay.
Interesting lyrics. I was also disappointed.
Evocative.
I was also disappointed, along with that Caine song that never made it. I was very disappointed that Speedball Vodka Hurricane that was sung by Fozzie Bear didn't make it. That's a really sought after bootleg, that one. Speedball Vodka Hurricane.
One of the things I really, really enjoyed about this movie is how little Fozzie Bear was in it. My most hated Muppet.
Waka waka waka.
Waka waka. Fucking hate him.
Barely in it at all. Barely in it.
Do you know why? Actually, Colin, reminded me of fucking either Harry or Walter. That's a pure vaudeville shtick nonsense that again, really.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is set Fozzie loose in a national park and set a couple of Republican senators after him,
I was never that down. I was very happy that Gonzo had such a central role. But we'll come to that. Just to finish off the Paul Williams thing. So, like, you got time. Okay, it feels like Christmas. Okay, whatever. Thankful Heart is another one. Bless Us All. I don't know about you. To me, knowing the background he came from, going into that, it makes it a little bit more interesting. But generally, the song's kind of washed over me, to be honest.
Plus, I was just enjoying snow as well, and snow looks like cocaine.
Oh.
See, yeah, we're through the looking glass now, Michael.
Tough life for him. Yeah. Alternative Scrooges. So, as always in these things, very rarely does Caine walk into these kind of signature roles when it's been written for him. I think The Italian Job, off the top of my head, is the only one that he walked in. Carter. You're right. But certainly not. I don't think Sleuth. I don't think The Man Who Would Be King.
They're all existing properties, yeah.
Equally, this one, David Warner, who will be in Silver Bears with Caine in due course. The Omen, Tron. Ron Moody, who played Fagin and Oliver. George Carlin, the comedian, screen tested for this. And David Hemmings. David Hemmings, that old 60s icon. Now, would you believe
was it a blowout or what's
blow up?
Blow up, yeah. Was that him?
Yes, and you would have seen him in many films. Eyebrows. And David Hemmings, 60s icon, now buried in a place, would you believe, called Caine in Wiltshire. He was also in Simon, by the way. Remember that little short where Caine's in a car just driving by? David Hemmings is in that as well. But he's actually
the fourth round of CBT has managed to erase that from my fucking brain.
Buried in a place called Caine. I think that's kind of amazing. But Caine nailed the screen test. He really wanted to do it. But here, can you help me with this, right? So Caine obviously has been asked about Scrooge and A Christmas Carol a lot down the years, and one of the main reasons he gives for doing it, the main reason, in fact, was that so his daughter could watch some of his movies. Now, his daughter Natasha. Now, the film came out in 1992. Okay, Natasha was born in 1973. That means Natasha was 19 in 1992. And Caine is making a Muppet Christmas Carol so that it's something suitable for his daughter to watch. What's going on there?
I honestly don't know.
That's very strange.
You don't know what kind of when was he asked this? What year was this interview given?
Well, I mean,
it would be key in explaining the thought process.
I don't have to. This is a thing this is.
You have a fucking story for me. Where's the fucking date?
This is an
Where's
answer.
Your sources? Where are your sources?
Well, let me put it this way.
You wouldn't get away with this at work, would you?
No.
What are your sources?
Well,
some sham in a GA team. It's good enough for you. Fuck off and have my tea.
Come here. The movie was made in 92. So obviously the interview was after Natasha was 19. So whenever he said it, and he said it repeatedly over the years, maybe I'm missing a trick here. Maybe someone can correct me on this because, but I've looked it up a few times now, and it's in his book, as one of his books as well, that I did this for my daughter. And I was like, that's lovely, but your daughter was 19. I don't understand. I don't
understand. 19-year-olds might like the Muppets. I don't know, but I mean, again.
Well, I'm sure they do, but she would have been able to watch every single other movie he'd ever made by then as well. There's no need to. Anyway, look, I don't know. Very odd. Did you notice a shop called Micklewhite's in the background, by the way, of one scene?
Yes.
Oh, well done. Well done. What else do we need to say about this? Frank Oz, of course, produced this.
Yeah.
Friends from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, God bless him. Another hit there, the Oz-Caine connection.
Yeah, I have a couple of other things I want to discuss.
Let's go.
Deleted scenes. Infamous Jack the Ripper scene was cut from it. We'll never see that.
How did that go?
Swedish chef apparently went on a rampage, killed a rake of chickens. A lot of writing and blood up in the walls of the alleys in and around Scrooge's gaff. Not appropriate.
Kill pigs kind of thing. Pigs.
Yeah. Pigs, literally. Yeah. Kill all pigs.
Yeah. Kill frogs.
Kill frogs. What else do I want to talk about?
That would have been a very dark turn. That would have been a very dark turn, I have to say.
Yeah. No. I'm not much for scientism.
Or even words that sound like scientists.
But in this movie, Miss Piggy and Mr. Kermit are married and they have children. Their children are split along their species. So, like, this is not how having children works. It's not. You've got 4 kids. It's not like 2 of them look like you and 2 of them look like your wife.
No.
So what we should have been presented with, and I call out Brian Henson and his entire fucking company as being cowards. We should have been given some sort of horrific frog-pig hybrid. Either what we call frogs or frigs. So if they go on about Tiny Tim having a limp, you should have seen what the kind of fucking deformities, God love them, in those kids.
I think Scrooge,
Father, kill me, not another Christmas.
I think if we had
I can neither breathe, no air or water.
I think if we had progs or frigs, Scrooge would have taken one look in the window at Tiny Tim and gone, "Ah, fuck that! I can do nothing here. Go away, ghost! I'm going back to bed." Does not. Hey, listen, you pressed the wrong button here with me. That train has gone. That ship has sailed. We are done with the progs and the frigs. Like, what can you do about that?
Not a hell of a lot. No. So yeah, obviously, key issue here is this is reality in a Muppets movie. Is it me? And I don't know how this. Again, I don't know how this happened. But Tiny Tim, did he look like he was about 45? Tiny Tim looked older than Kermit.
He's very aged because he's very ill. He's going to die.
Kind of a very kind of Michael D. Higgins look about him, kind of shriveledy, but not.
Yeah, he's meant to be. I mean, it's a long way from sitting on the steps singing for this little Muppet.
And again, like, what is so good about Tiny Tim? He goes to church. And he says, "God blesses everyone," despite the fact that he should be, feeling miserable about his place in life or his lot in life.
You see, this is why you need a visit from a few ghosts. He's a nice lad with a lovely disposition and nature. And if more people could be more like Tiny Tim on this podcast alone, I think this podcast would be a better place for a start. Let me tell you.
Tiny Tim, oh, Tiny Tim, everybody laughs at him. Needs to go back to the gym. Tiny Tim, watch out, Tiny's got a gun. He's going to murder everyone. It's what you get for making fun of Tiny Tim, the spree killer.
Whose parents openly talk about his imminent demise right in front of him.
Look, I think he knows himself. He's a fairly mature lad. He doesn't. They're not going to mollycoddle him that way.
Oh, Kermie, do you think Lady Tim is going to die? I can hear you, you know.
I'm right here.
I'm actually feeling okay.
Poor Tiny Tim.
Because we don't actually see how Tiny Tim dies in the future. It could be just Miss Piggy decided to dignitas the ass out of him and just going to go upstairs at a pillow.
And now she lives with the grief.
I'm putting you to a long sleep, my Tiny Tim. Now I must weep. It's Christmas time. The snow is falling. Uh-oh. The police are calling.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This place, this lovely light Christmas podcast has gone to some dark places. I can't say I'm
my
surprised.
Tiny Tim, I am your mother. For your illness, now I must smother.
It writes itself, Paul Williams, you fucking hack.
Oh my God. Did you get your kids to watch this with you? Did you force them to sit and spend some quality time with you?
I think they were too busy going out the back going through their calisthenics in the cold. It was a Sunday after all.
I was going to ask you what they thought of it.
No, they watched it. They liked it. Yeah, they found the ghosts a bit scary, but other than that, they liked it. Yeah.
Same in our house. Yeah, like so it works. I mean, click, tick. It works exactly how it's meant to.
Like as I say, legitimate criticism aside, it's a perfectly fine movie.
It's a fine movie
compared to what we've had to watch recently. I would say it's a 5-star.
It's a wonder.
Nailed against the wall classic.
Oh, it's a wonder. I mean, compared to what we've been watching recently, it's up there with, Peachy Carnahan. It's up there with Peachy Carnahan and Charlie Croker. But I mean, as you say, we need to kind of just balance our brains a little bit when it comes to that stuff. Is there anything else about the movie? Because I was going to move on just to a little bit of the background of how this movie came to be. It's actually quite interesting how it came about.
Did Charles Dickens not write a book a long time ago?
Well, that's actually where I was going to start. In the 1840s, a man called Charles Dickens penned a story called A Christmas Carol. And then years and years later, there was loads of versions of it. But we got up to the...
It was originally called Scrooge Hard, wasn't it?
Scrooge Hard. Yeah, Scrooge Hard. That's right. Totally.
I would pay cash money to see a Muppet Die Hard.
Hello.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to see a version of Die Hard with the Muppets in it.
Very nicely done. Yet again, and let me tell you, listeners, this is not the first time that we have come up with a better idea for a movie than the movie itself that we have been watching. Let me tell you that.
Pay us money, Hollywood.
Make a Muppet Die Hard.
Releases from this fucking Stygian nightmare.
The background to the Muppets. Okay, all right. So the Muppet Christmas Carol. Jim Henson, of course, the great Jim Henson, had died in 1990, 2 years before the movie came out, and his son Brian, who directed Muppet Christmas Carol, he was kind of obviously in the throes of grief when he threw himself into this project, but it seems to have been kind of arranged around him. The family agent, a guy called Bill Haber, actually pitched the idea to Brian, and Brian said, "Let me go and think about it." He got another phone call back from Haber again within a half an hour going, "I've sold it. We're doing it. It's happening. So get your ass in gear." Henson initially planned a Muppet Christmas Carol as a kind of wild, anarchic, kind of typical sort of Muppet movie. But then when he was going through, he kind of reckoned his dad wouldn't have attacked Dickens or a work of Dickens in that way, which kind of results, in my opinion anyway, in some absolutely genius decisions. Gonzo as Charles Dickens, the narrator, that allowed them to use so much direct stuff from the book. Sometimes with all these Dickens films, and there's so many film versions of it, you forget how brilliant the books are. But in the Muppet Christmas Carol, there's lots and lots of lines from the original Christmas Carol that Gonzo reads to kind of keep the story going. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's like, to me, it's one of the best parts. I don't know how you felt about it. Maybe I don't know that it even registered, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Or a good Jack Reacher book, really, is it? It's fine.
It's grand. Some of it was just poetry. It was absolutely wonderful.
Brian Henson is a very mediocre director. He is not. He is just fine.
Go on. Flesh that out for me.
There is nothing remarkable about it shot-wise in this. It is all very much by the numbers. It's gun for hire. As far as I can see, there's nothing innovative. There's nothing that really sticks in your mind in terms of, wow, that was a really beautiful shot setup. It's really much, we're here to make money by using Muppets, which is fair enough. I think he probably suffers by comparisons to his father, I guess, that front. Well, it doesn't really matter.
I think that, I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I would definitely say that maybe the real genius in this film is in how they conceptualized a Muppet film based on A Christmas Carol. I mean, how they use the Muppets, as I say, how they use Gonzo's Dickens, casting Caine, and how Caine plays it. All of that stuff.
I don't think an audience ever thought that they get to see Gonzo's Dickens.
We got that. They're glad now they did. Yeah. How they use Rizzo kind of almost like a Greek chorus alongside Gonzo, kind of just bringing kind of that aspect to it. It's really, really well put together. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not particularly. There is a bit of a blunder at the end. So obviously they use miniature houses and stuff as on the set in Shepperton Studios in London. At the very end, at the very closing credits, where the camera kind of lifts up and you can see the whole of London town kind of stretched out. You can kind of see how they are miniature houses. They actually considered reshooting that song and dance sequence to get that right, because they saw it afterwards that it didn't quite look right, but they said, look, the song and dance works so well, so that'll be fine. Who's going to notice? So look, as you say, from the point of view of technical filmmaking, innovation, etc., maybe it's not up there, but I think in terms of conceiving the story and making it work in 85 minutes, it's marvelous. I think it's fabulous as a Christmas movie.
It's fine as a Christmas movie.
It's fine. You're not going to get beyond. I'm not going to pull you beyond fine. I'm hearing you. The reviews.
But fine is good. Fine is good. I'm absolutely happy with fine. If all we ever came on here and said it was fine, I would be happy.
Yeah, well, at this stage, I would.
That would be a Christmas miracle.
Given what we've seen, fine. You're absolutely right. Fine has suddenly graduated to wonderful. The reviews at the time, very positive. Made $27 million, more than double what it cost to make. But it kind of really, it's like a lot of these, like Willy Wonka, I suppose, the old Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder, kind of made its reputation on, just repeated viewing over Christmases.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't realize it was such a kind of a standard Christmas movie for so many people. But look, it's great.
That's because we're old now.
Yeah, we're old now. Now we can appreciate it. Anything else you want to touch before we move on to the old Marks for Caine and all that? Carry on and get back to our eggnogging.
I've never nogged an egg.
Yeah, it's not great. I'll be honest. I've gone through 4 cartons now, and I think it's starting to do things to me.
I imagine it would. Yeah. I've said all I want to say about a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Excellent. So, festive marks for Caine. Be generous. It's the season. Marks for the performance, not the movie. I'd be giving the movie 8 or 9 anyway. But what would you give Caine in this?
I'd give him a 7.
A 7.
Yes.
Well, I would give him a festive 8, but I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to say a 7. He's probably, that's probably fair enough. 7, but it is wonderful. It is wonderful. Worth pointing out, by the way, obviously we're a long way from our kind of our natural habitat, which is the mid-late 70s at the moment with Caine. But right now in the 90s, I mean, good God, we think we're in a bad way now. I mean, he's in the middle. He did this just in the worst run of shite. Like, the movie before this was Blue Ice with Sean Young, which he produced. And you know what do you know what movie he does after A Muppet Christmas Carol?
You know that I don't. Deadly Ground.
Yes.
Is it? That's a classic, though.
Deadly Ground with Steven Seagal. Unbelievable. I mean, it really is.
Can you name any? It is unbelievable. His hair is dyed jet black, just in case you weren't unsure that he was an oil company minion and a bad guy. And the movie ends with, I think, a 7-minute PowerPoint presentation on the evils of oil, given by Steven Seagal. Have you seen it on Deadly Ground?
I've seen bits of it. I've never been able to sit through the whole.
I've seen on Deadly Ground, I would say comfortably maybe 4 or 5 times.
Good God. Well, that's something to look forward to in God knows how long away.
What is a man? What is a man?
What does it take to change the essence of a man?
I need time to change.
I mean, it's just, I mean, if you're looking for, again, a snapshot of the Caine career, you get it right here. Like, it's just a snapshot of Caine, you know, awful movie, good, and then back to awful again. Really awful. I mean, these are the movies that send him into retirement in the 90s. But it's for another day. It's for another day.
Yes, it's the movie's fault.
It's totally the movie's fault. It's everybody else's fault.
Damn movies making me do them.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing just fine. Just stop. You don't need that many swimming pools. Just stop making these films for money. Make them for your daughter. That seems to work.
No, but I have to make this Steven Seagal movie so that my daughter can watch them. What?
What? Yeah, she's in her 20s now. She's fine with the action.
She hasn't watched one of your movies in years. She's seen enough.
I would really appreciate if someone could solve that Christmas mystery for me. How Caine could say that he was making a Christmas Carol for his daughter when she's 19. Anyhow, it's with a heavy heart that we leave this winter wonderland and return to the mid-70s.
Yes,
and we're at that stage of 70s. Do you know the way, like, there's cocaine 70s? We're now in kind of like grim heroin 70s, really, for us. It's like, oh, God.
I think we need to fly now from the wonderful Christmas future back to the Christmas past of gruel.
Yeah. Well, look.
Houses.
Please, sir, can I have less? Can I have less? Please, can I have less? Well, look, at least the next movie has a Christmassy feel to it, in that it's long and it's wary, and it's probably best consumed when half doped with biscuits and tea. It's Caine back in uniform, but which uniform? In the Eagle has landed.
Oberst Kurt Steiner, commanding the 12th Parachute Detachment.
Another war movie.
Yay! This is in my wheelhouse. If you've seen On Deadly Ground so many times, I've seen this many, many, many times.
I look forward to ruining it for you.
Well, you have previous in that regard. You have previous. But look, there was nothing could ruin a Muppets Christmas Carol. Even if you're listening to this in like July 2022 or 3 or 4 or however long these things last online, I don't know. Hopefully it brings a little festive cheer.
Yeah, and as usual, in between stuffing your face with mince pies and wishing that you never had any children, make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast, leave a comment, hit us up on Twitter at MarkandCaine2, and we will see you again next time, back in the past. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. That's it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Only nice ones, though. Mean comments will make Alfie cry, and no one wants to see that. The Mark of Caine podcast is written, researched, and presented by Stephen Black and Michael Foley, and edited by Andrew Foley. Music is composed by Stephen Black. If you'd like to get in touch, you'll find us on Twitter at Mallow News and at Mark of Caine 2. And if you enjoyed this episode, you'll find all the rest wherever you get your podcasts. The Mark of Caine is a Malanews 2 Cubes production. See you next time.